going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Booze, Bets, and Ball podcast. Alec here. Nate is here. Nate, how are we?
Doing great. It's Good Tuesday.
Yeah, it is. And we are joined by a very special guest as Matty Fresh is joining us today. Matt, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you having me on. It's good to see you guys. I was in the Twitter space last time you had it, but now we're here live.
Yeah, good to see everybody.
The good thing about Twitter Space, though, is that it's live and nobody's recording it. So if you say something stupid, it's gone forever. This is not like that, right? So
this is.
Be careful. And if you listen to our last couple episodes, you'll know that we say a lot of stupid shit. So
yeah,
right up my alley.
Very much. So we just want to get started here. For those of you that don't know, which I don't know what's wrong with you if you don't know, but Matt is a singer and songwriter who kind of came to fame thanks to Penn State football players, honestly. He's singing some songs about them. So he's also a Penn Stater like the rest of us on here, very biased, but what are you going to do? But I thought we'd start before that and kind of what got you into music in the first place?
Back in like 10th, 11th grade, I think everybody was just kind of goofing around all the time. And this was when, Mac Miller was in, and you kind of had this goofy genre of rap where anybody could just be on a playground spitting freestyles. And yeah, that's kind of how it came to be, just in the summer, just goofing around, doing some freestyles. And then I guess I was the one in the group where I was like, wow, you actually have something here. And I'm like, it's not like I grew up with a piano, a guitar, and a saxophone, playing all kind of music. My dad was in a band, but I wasn't in a ton of music classes. So it really was just kind of that era of like internet mixtapes and stuff like that really kicked it off. And, just started actually writing on my own instead of just doing freestyles and stuff. And then the big one that kind of people started to take it seriously was Skook State of Mind in 2014, where just had this idea to do like a big tribute to Schuylkill County, where I grew up. And it got a lot more reception locally than I thought it would. And that kind of made me believe in myself a little bit more and think, all right, maybe I'm onto something here.
I watched that yesterday for the first time, I think, ever. And I'm from Scranton. And you look at Schuylkill County and you look at Scranton, I think you described yourself as a coal cracker in the song, right? And it is a place. Both of those are places that nobody will ever move to. But if you grow up there, it's like home, right? And all these little things that you talk about from the neighborhood are what's endearing about it for the local folks. So I think songs like that are really, it gives people a sense of pride about where they come from, even if it's not the most desirable place outside of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Repping the Blue Mountain right now. Blue Mountain High School, 2013. But I always had the vision of never forget where you came from, because when you do get somewhere, you'll appreciate it that much more. And it's just such a unique area. Like, you just don't hear a lot of like entertainers, especially like new coming out of the area, that they can kind of grow to a bigger audience. But yeah, for me, doing stuff locally was cool, because it's like someone that listens to the song from out of the area is going to have no idea what's going on. But when you are from Schuylkill County, I've just gotten so much love from people. And, to this day, people are still hitting me up, asking me to do like, grad parties and, stuff like that from the Skook. So it's cool that the song will always have a legacy, and, people will be able to show their kids and stuff. And I never thought it would do those kind of numbers, but yeah, it's really cool to have.
So the most famous musicians from Northeast PA, Ben Burnley, and then close second, Matty Fresh, right? I guess is how that is.
Yeah, you throw the Jordan brothers in there, probably. Pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's actually how I found out about you. It wasn't anything that happened at Penn State, because I'm from Hazleton. I went to Marion, and I started in high school in 2014. So it was like right as the song came out. So it's like what everybody was talking about. So that was always cool. Then when I saw the Penn State stuff, I was like, it was like the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen type thing for me. Like, oh, I know who that is. So it was really cool for me to see that. And then kind of moving on to Penn State, were you like, I know I was like always going to Penn State from the beginning. Like, it was like only school I was ever applying to, dead set. Were you the same way? Did you grow up a Penn State fan, or was it kind of just something that happened during the college application process in high school?
Yeah, I was definitely born with it in my blood. First game in Beaver Stadium was September of 2000. It's like 4 years old. Penn State playing against Drew Brees. Never forget it. So yeah, just going to games all the time. My dad had season tickets. My sister graduated from Penn State, like just big Penn State family. And then around the time I was deciding on college is when the scandal broke. And I wasn't really happy, and my family wasn't really happy with the way that the university handled Joe Paterno. So I kind of reconsidered if Penn State was for me at the time. And it's crazy to think that that was a kind of decision, but the ripple effect for the scandal was just crazy. I just loved my school and I loved Joe. And I just wasn't sure if the future of Penn State was something that was going to incorporate all the same values that I grew up on. So I was like, is this place that I'm going to school really going to be the same by the time I graduate? And it in fact was. It just took me a year where I ended up going to Shippensburg. And then that was a learning experience where I was like, yeah, I belong at Penn State. I'm absolutely going to transfer. And best decision I ever made. And that's where I belonged. And, you know, I'm here in State College now. I love this town. It's home to me. And yeah, definitely not something that I was even, you know, thinking about when I was a 17, 18-year-old kid, but I ended up in the right place. So
what was your major?
Broadcast journalism.
Okay. So
we were same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It taught me a lot of what kind of people are like, well, how does that apply to music? It applies a lot. Trust me, like communication skills and kind of being able to have a voice and market yourself. It's an awesome program. I recommend it for anybody who's looking to get in any kind of sports media or anything you want to do.
Nice. So let's fast forward. It's 2017 then. And so the Saquon Barkley song comes out. What was the inspiration behind that? Did you expect it to blow up kind of like the Skook State of Mind did?
Yeah, so obviously coming off that 2016 season, everything changed, right? I mean, people were fired up again about Penn State football and such a heartbreaking loss in the Rose Bowl. And I remember sitting there and kind of sulking about how close we were in that game and just like everybody played so well and thinking about, you know, who's going to come back. We have so many key pieces that if everybody comes back, we have a solid chance at a national championship. And everybody did except Chris Godwin, which ended up being the product of that Rose Bowl. But yeah, just literally the week after the Rose Bowl, I'm like, how can I spin this into a positive? Because like a lot of people are upset about the Rose Bowl, but like, let's keep this in perspective what we just did. Like we just won a Big Ten championship, overcame all the odds. Not a soul expected us to do it that year. So I was like, I need to capitalize on the hype of this team. This thing is a train and it's rolling and it needs a soundtrack. And I was going to be the one to do that. It was a perfect time because I was up here in State College and I was just like, this is going to be so easy to market, but at the same time, no expectations for it. Because I'm like, cool, if my classmates hear it, maybe we get it in the locker room to Saquon, he'll appreciate it. Maybe Coach Franklin hears it and that'll be the end of it. I was like, you know, never did I think Fox Sports would throw it on pregame for Penn State, Ohio State, which was like the most viewed broadcast in like sports that season. It's crazy what that did to kind of give me the next step onto, you know, the Trey song and then forward.
The first time you hear this Saquon song, it's kind of ridiculous, but the next 100 times you hear it, it's just better and better every time.
That's all my songs.
Right. Yeah. And
I've never talked to a single person who I let them listen to my music for the first time, and they're like, no, it is. And that's the goal. Melodies that grow on you and annoying stuff that you can't get out of your head, even if you try. That's my specialty. That's my niche. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny. When Saquon would get a run then in 2017, like a first down, they would always play like the Saquon Barkley quote from the song. And it was just so cool kind of hearing that because it's like, I know you from Skook State of Mind, and then they're playing them at Beaver Stadium. It was, for me, that was even kind of cool to hear.
Yeah, shout out PJ Mullen for that.
Yeah.
Made a connection with him right away when I had Com 360 radio reporting class. Okay. And, you know, he was showing us videos of, you know, here's what's going to go on the stadium. And he was really giving us like hands-on experience of kind of what his job looked like. And yeah, just like sent him the song, and I was just like, dude, you're Beaver Stadium music guy. Like, let's do something with this. And he said the same thing Nate just did. First
That's
time
cool.
he was listening, he was like, all right, yeah, we'll see. You know, we'll get it on the playlist. And then comes in the next day and he's like, I can't get this out of my head. He's like, this is absolutely, he was like humming it in class. He's like, yeah, this is playing in the stadium. And, you know, of course I missed the game where they like really featured it. I was doing something for some student radio, but I get my phone blew up. Everyone's like, yo, it's playing in the stadium. And I was just so grateful for PJ. I'm like, yo, that's incredible. Like the connections that you make at Penn State are just like, I know somebody everywhere. Like if I want my music somewhere, it's because of my Penn State degree that I can get it there. And that's just like an incredible two-way street to take advantage of. So.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like your rise, you had a very specific target, right? You said we're going to capitalize on this season, and then the next season, and you blew up from that. It's a real kind of lesson in entrepreneurship and how you can make, you know, if you just find that niche of marketability, you can really turn it into something fantastic. And that's really great. Yeah.
And then just like having a plan of, you know, we had been releasing some music after Scoop State of Mind and trying to get, you know, an audience based around, but it's tough because like you're making a song about Schuylkill County. So you really only have that base. So like now you got to branch out. Right. And some of my music after that wasn't very successful, like 2015, 2016. So I was like, man, you know, I might have 50 to 100 unreleased tracks on my laptop. And I'm just like, where are these going to go? And then the Saquon idea hits, the Trace idea hits, and it's just like, those write themselves. And it's like what you think is the hardest thing, which is like finding music that people can relate to, becomes the easiest thing, right? It's like I have all this unreleased music that I work so hard on. And I'm just like, the idea was sitting here right in front of my face the entire time, to give me the platform to then circle back and release some of that, you know? So yeah, definitely a niche thing. And I went for it. And really, I was just like trying not to take myself too seriously as like a musician. I was just like, listen, I'm a Penn State fan. I'm right here with you guys in the stands. I'm in the student section screaming my head off. I'm out at college game day when we're whiting out Michigan. And like, you know, that's what I loved about Trace McSorley, is that he was just kind of an everyday guy. And I was like, yeah, I don't want this stuff to be about me. Like these athletes deserve to be celebrated. And there was a select few, starting with Saquon, where I was like, man, he's a generational talent. Like we just don't see those kind of athletes come around that often. And then, just built from there. So.
Yes, you kind of brought this up, but the Trace McSorley song, that was big too when Trace was in college. I remember, I can't remember who it was, but one like national writer like said something about it, and he's like, oh my God, like Trace is going to win the Heisman this year or whatever. And I was just curious, like the song clearly, you know, blew up while Trace was a senior, but then it kind of, you know, cooled down for a while. And then Trace gets in against who they play? The Steelers in that game?
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. When Lamar had to go to the bathroom or whatever happened there. And then like it skyrockets. So like you're kind of sitting there watching that game, and like Twitter's like everybody's tweeting the song lyrics. Kind of what was going through your mind there?
Yeah, what you just referenced when he got in through the touchdown pass to Hollywood Brown, that was the turning point. That was the turning point. But even 2 months before that happened, you know, he's sitting behind Lamar on the depth chart, and I think RG3 at that time too. Yeah. And some kid just made a TikTok, and it features Trace playing Madden, and the thing just inexplicably just goes absolutely crazy, like just viral everywhere. And right at the peak of it, he gets in the game, right? It's like the craziest thing, like that all the stars aligned, right? So like not only did it take 2 years for everybody to know the song and for the song to finally go national and get outside of State College, then he gets in the game. Like you can't script it better. Then he throws an 80-yard touchdown pass. Like, so it was insanity after that. And the whole time I'm sitting here, like, I was not prepared for this. And I'm like sitting here, like, there is so much that I put off that needed to be done to like tie up all my loose ends. But we got it done. We got as much done as we could. Like the song wasn't even on Spotify. I didn't even have it cleared. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, you're right. There was that lull after he graduated where I was focused on graduating myself and doing other things. And I had a TV job in Mississippi, and like, you know, you didn't think of like, wow, the song should be on Spotify or Apple Music. Like, you know, so there's a lot of loose ends to tie up, but yeah, we got there, and I'm pretty confident with where we're at now, with people being able to find me and find the song and like recognize the brand behind it.
I looked yesterday, 3.9 million streams on Spotify, which is pretty damn fantastic.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's incredible, and you know, just kind of the brand behind it, like what we've been able to do on TikTok now for stuff that doesn't even relate to football. Like it's almost like, and you know, I'm still not very familiar with the app. I'm trying every day to get better at it because I know it's so necessary now to succeed as an artist. But like just people sending me stuff and the trends that are associated with that song now that have nothing to do with Trace McSorley. Like just people, I think there's like 60,000 videos on a trend right now for just like college athletes and people from high school, whatever, just like using a soundbite of the song and like putting themselves in the video. Like it's become one of those kind of TikTok cult classics. And because of that, like, I think it has a legacy, not only at Penn State, but like everywhere. Yeah, just something we made in the dorm room closet, guys, honestly. Down at Temple, I didn't even record in State College. I was going to Philly to record a lot of my music at that time, and we threw that together in a couple days in the summer of 2018 in a dorm closet. $0 on marketing, promotion, anything. And it shows you the power of the internet is absolutely insane. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I was humming like "Throw It on a Dime" for like 2 weeks after that game. Like I couldn't get it out of my head either. Like it was really cool.
My 14-year-old daughter, who knows nothing about football, I said, on God, I told her yesterday that Matty Fresh is coming on our podcast, and she's like, "Oh, throw it on a dime." That's all she said. Like, that's really like.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that being my brand for the rest of my life. I don't care.
Do not take that negatively. That is a positive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we have the Barkley song, the McSorley, your recent one, Jahan Dotson. Kind of out of all these songs, what has been like the coolest interaction you've had with any of those three guys? Like, you mentioned that you did an interview with Trace. Like, if they reached out to you about the songs, kind of what has been their feedback on them?
Yeah, each one kind of has its own special moment. I think the first time that Saquon DM'd me was just like mind blowing, like something I'll never forget, because, you know, he went out of his way to message me and thank me. And you know, I should have expected that. Like, Saquon's such a humble guy, right? And that's a lot of that went into the why of, you know, why I wrote that song, because he was just so humble. And yeah, when he hit me up and DM'd me, I was really ecstatic. With Trace, there's been a ton of cool ones. Like we had an April Fool's joke where I was planning on releasing a new single called Promo last April. And I thought that what we would do is tease a James Franklin song. And the idea was that Trace was going to feature on the song and he was going to make his rap debut. So just like having this crazy idea that I thought of and like messaging him and just thinking like, yeah, he's probably going to think this is like corny and not do it. And I'm like, you know, I don't blame him if he does. Like, you know, it's kind of like a controversial thing at the time because, you know, there's a lot of different people talking about Coach Franklin and stuff. And he was totally down with it. He's just like, that's a funny idea. We hop on FaceTime, we record a little gig saying like, yeah, Trace is like, yeah, I'm super excited to make my rap debut. Like it'll be fun to talk about Coach Franklin in a rap song. Just such a good sport about it, you know? And then just how cool he's been with it, because you have to understand with Trace McSorley, like probably the craziest story that came out of this whole thing was they're in a Ravens team meeting room and John Harbaugh's daughter sends him the song. And John Harbaugh plays it in front of the entire Ravens organization for the entire 3-minute YouTube video, right? And at the time, Trace is the young guy, right, surrounded by vets. And it's just like the entire 3 minutes he lets it play, right? And Trace like probably could decide that he would hate me forever for that. But he's so cool about it that he embraces it. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to fight this. Like, am I the throw it on a dime guy now? Like, people are going to say that to me in the locker room? Yeah, sure. But it's also like, it's a lot of fun. And he can embrace that and not get salty about it where it's like, oh, great, like this is who I am. Like Trace and I both have the understanding, and everybody else does, that he's not a meme. Like he's not a meme quarterback. Like if some 12, 13-year-old kid is like, oh, that guy's a meme, like whatever. Like that's what YouTube comments are for, right? But like we all know he's not. Like, he is a solid quarterback. He's the best quarterback ever at Penn State, in my opinion. And he's a hero here for what he did, and I think he's going to have some success in the NFL. And if that carries along with him, you know, a little bit of a brand recognition and a song, that's cool. For Jahan, it was over Christmas break. Someone sent me a Snapchat and he posted like, "Catch me on your local Apple Music." It was just like his face with like the song in the background. And I could tell he was hype. And it was cool to see that like players on the team like that weren't Jahan. We're just kind of like, oh, I was hoping it was me. Or like, I was like, there's no way I got to this point, right? Where like I was joking around with this, and now all of a sudden, like, it's a thing where it's like the Matty Fresh treatment. Like if you get that, you did something right. Like that's crazy to me. So that's
what can you rhyme with Jair Brown this year?
I'm gonna use Tig. I'm gonna just use his nickname. Yeah, okay, we got to come up with something. But no, that's a huge one, right? I was just talking to my dad about Tig today. Guy's just a ball magnet. And when there were so many dropped interceptions at points last year, like you could just always count on Tig to make the play. And I'm so glad he came back. He's out here in the community. He's at like the Spikes game. Like this guy knows, you know, he knows how to get the fan love for sure. And he's gonna be a star this year for sure. Hey, he gave me the idea. Maybe I need to start writing.
Need a defensive guy once, right? Like
yeah, right. I miss Micah Parsons. Like there's so many runner-ups for this. Like that's what people don't realize. Like there are literal songs I've written that will never see the internet. But yeah, like I miss Micah. So I gotta get some love for the Penn State defense because they are amazing. Last year they were great. So
definitely. That's awesome. So Jair Brown's next, and then we'll see. Maybe not confirmed. Maybe one of those 2022 5 stars in the years to come. Then.
Yeah, I already have a reminder in my phone.
I tweeted you about that. I was like, Drew Aller 2024 Matty Fresh song. Here we come.
Yeah, that seemed to be the popular choice.
Yeah.
And I literally did put a reminder in my phone for August 6th of 2023. Right, Drew Aller.
Hopefully,
we all hope.
Yeah, we all hope.
Yeah, stick around, Drew. No portal, not allowed. So
hopefully not, man. So just to finish up here, as a Penn State student, what were your best experiences? Whether it was through music or just being a student in the classroom, you know, going to bars. What sticks out the most to you?
It's an experience, man. It really is.
Yeah.
Being in broadcast journalism was really cool because you just you're just so close with everybody because I think some of the classrooms are smaller and you just kind of see the same people every day. Also, when I was here, we were out at Innovation Park every day, which was kind of off campus.
Yeah.
So you kind of feel like you're going into work every day and like working with the same people in the office. So that was really cool. But like, dude, there was nothing like 26, like just the fall of 2016. Like I just get so many memories and so much nostalgia from like that season of, you know, one that stands out to me is just like going to the Iowa game, fall of 2016. It's like November and it's like 70 degrees out. And it's like, you cannot beat this. Like Tommy Stevens trucking over guys up 40-7. It's 70 degrees in November. We've been tailgating all day. James Franklin called for a second whiteout. Like, so everybody's in white and he wasn't even allowed to do that. And that's like coming up now with this season and how that's all going to work out. But yeah, that season was incredible, I think. And yeah, I mean, you can't beat the state college bars. Like Pickles will always have such a special place in my heart. Performed at Champs, you know, major love for Cafe, and I'm missing so many. But yeah, it was just a great experience all around, especially for somebody who like used to go downtown when they were like 6 or 7, and just look around and be like, wow, I could be here someday. Like even as a little kid, and here I am, still in state college, and I love it. May have to move soon. We'll see where life takes me if this new one pops. I don't know if I'm cut out for Los
Wisconsin,
Angeles.
right? Isn't that There's something about Wisconsin in the video clip there.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, Mississippi's in there. There's a couple options here for me.
Okay.
We just want to make sure that whatever we do, we stay Penn State forever. Like wherever I end up, I'll be repping no matter where I go. That's a huge part of my identity, and I'll always be repping Penn State.
Awesome. Well, it's been awesome to have you on. But before you go, tell the people where they could find you, where they could find your music.
Yeah, of course. Matty Fresh on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, on Twitter at Matty Fresh TV, Instagram at Matty Fresh Tunes. I'm kind of quiet on social media, around stuff that doesn't deal with my releases, but there's going to be a lot on there this summer because we are releasing a track called Tsunami on July 1st. This does not have a Penn State tie, but it's going to be a fun summer anthem. And I'm hoping that it'll give us a platform so that more and more people could find like, wow, these guys got something going on at Penn State, right? So yeah, hit me up on socials. Always open to do any kind of podcast, any kind of shows, performances that you want to do. And if you want a song about like your high school quarterback, your kid's like a 14, 15-year-old kid, and you want a song for the stadium on a Friday night, I'm your guy. Hit me up. We'll make something happen.
we might need an intro song, so we'll probably be hitting you up pretty soon.
I just want the 10 seconds of Tsunami that's out there. It's very good. Oh my gosh!
Jingles are one of the most fun things I've ever done. I used to do some radio jingles, and I love doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, hit me up.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Matt. It was a blast. Great hearing from you and getting some insight. It was awesome.
Appreciate you guys having me. We are.
Yeah, we are Penn State. All right. And look who's here. Dylan's here. Hi, Dylan.
About time, huh?
Yeah, sorry.
It's been a little bit.
Did you get to hear all that?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that was a good interview. He was on a lot longer than I actually expected, but that was awesome.
And we made him wait 20 minutes too. So.
Yeah, sorry. My headphones were not working for 20 minutes. It was driving everybody crazy. It was my fault, but
yeah, I missed a couple, 3 shows, but I'm good now. I'm busy with work this summer, so
understandable.
I'm coming around when I can. So.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, every week is not a big deal, but it's okay. Tyler's on his way to Nashville, so we don't have him. Justin hasn't answered, so we don't know where he is.
He's not coming.
Yeah, he's not coming. He told me he was gonna give a game 3 finals NBA bet. Didn't get that. Don't know where that is. But
it'll be a 12-way parlay with like 8 bench guys scoring, 8 or more points and 4 more rebounds, and it'll be a 20,000 to 1 odds. So
knowing him, he would have a parlay where he has 2 different players to have the first basket of a game. I could see that. All right. So as I mentioned in our first episode, Dylan is our recruiting guru, and we're not going Penn State themed today. We're going national quarterback recruiting today because there's some dominoes that are probably going to fall because 2024 5-star CJ Carr is expected to announce his commitment on Thursday. And he is the grandson of Lloyd Carr, the big-time, long-time Michigan head coach. But Dylan, where is he going? What's the deal there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything for sure, but it seems like Notre Dame right now. As Penn State fans, you don't like seeing a 5-star quarterback go anywhere between Notre Dame or Michigan. But, I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather him go Michigan, especially if he's a what am I trying to think of? His grandfather at Michigan.
Legacy, yeah.
Yeah, legacy. That's the word. Yeah. Especially if he's a Michigan legacy. That's kind of funny. So I'd rather see him go.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
think where he's gonna end up. Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, that is like the same as if Joe Paterno had a 5-star quarterback son and he went to Pitt. Like the meltdown that would happen here is just unreal. I mean.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's Nolan Rucci level meltdown, I think, on Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all bad though, because do you think this puts them in a better spot for 2023 5-star Dante Moore out of Detroit? You think that helps their case at all?
Yeah, I'm seeing some reports that Notre Dame is going to ease off on Dante Moore, which I don't really understand, but I guess that's for the guys making the money to figure out. So, I mean, they're easing off more in 2023 if they can get a hold of Carr in 24. So, I guess that'd probably put Michigan in the driver's seat for him. We'll see what happens with his OVs, but Michigan's probably got a good shot there now.
Interesting. So then you think this gives Penn State any shot with 2024 5-star Jaden Davis?
Jaden Davis?
Does this help at all? Does it do anything?
I'd say he's the pipe dream for us in 2024 at quarterback position. I'd say Michael Van Buren right now at where's he at? He's in Maryland at St. Francis. So I'd say that's probably a more realistic, like high level quarterback option in 24. I think they'll go pretty hard after him. I'd say Jaden Davis is not off the table yet, but I'd say he's probably unrealistic. He's picked up an Alabama offer. I think Ohio State offered him. So the big guys are starting to poke around. So
yeah, and then finally, Arch Manning taking his OVs this month. If you had to pick, where would you have him going?
See, I'd probably say it's between Texas and Georgia.
Okay.
Hard to pull a recruit away from Georgia, but I think he might end up at Texas.
Interesting. He comes off as like he might end up at like a weird school. Like I don't know. I get a weird feeling about that sometimes.
I wouldn't fully
define a weird school. What's a weird school for him?
Could he end up at like a Virginia? Like I don't know, something like that. Like you never know. I know he visited there once or twice. So I mean, you never know. Like if.
Sorry, I wouldn't count out Ole Miss for him either, because obviously the Mannings have some ties there. I don't know. He's kind of keeping things quiet, under wraps. He doesn't want to blow up his recruitment too much, which is nice to see with like a number 1 overall recruit and everything. He's not really like blowing it up as much as he could be. He's kind of just keeping it to himself and figuring it out with his family. But I don't know. I think Ole Miss could still be in there, but yeah, I'd say Texas or Georgia right now.
Okay. Good to know. A lot of big quarterbacks out there, and there's already a ton that are committed too. Like there's a lot of big name quarterbacks these next couple cycles.
Seems like the dominoes are falling a little bit slower this year, but they're working their way with the quarterbacks. They're starting to. Some of those top guys are locking up their decisions.
Yeah, it seems like quarterback kind of always the position that teams want first because it's looked at as like the team captain. Get them on board, recruit other guys. It's easier to recruit receivers when you have a 5-star quarterback committed.
Mm-hmm. Lineman.
Yeah,
it seems like that Clemson quarterback swayed Zach Owens a little bit away from Penn State. So
that's unfortunate there. Yeah, Penn State needs a few more offensive linemen. That's for sure.
Need that Evan Link official visit to go well. That's an important name.
Yeah, how important do you think these next 3 weeks are for Penn State from an official visit standpoint? Like, is it?
They're big ones. I mean, if it's at this point, they just need to start getting these guys on campus because they've had I think 3 guys now that have already canceled because they're either silently committed somewhere, they've publicly already committed to a school they just visited. I mean, these guys are antsy this year because they're finally getting on these visits. A lot of them are impressed with the first school they're at and they commit and that's it. So whether it be silent or public, I mean, they're locking it down, but it's tough to even get these guys on campus like later in the month, 17th, 24th, like those weekends. We just need to get them on campus. I think we'll see a lot of names fall in July like last year after they take their official visits. So just hold on to your seats. We'll see some commitments in a few weeks.
Yeah, hopefully. June's always the visits, July's the commits. Mm-hmm. It's an exciting time. It's big recruiting time, and then you get right into the season. There's really no rest for the coaches at this point.
July 4th is a big one too. Big day.
Yeah, everyone loves the 4th of July commitment date, it seems. I think Penn State had like 3 or 4 last year on that day.
Always fun sitting around while you're trying to be at a cookout or something, trying to wait for a commitment to post about it.
Yeah.
I feel bad for guys that have to work like 247 and stuff, sitting around covering commitments all day. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, you're sitting at the beach right now. I think you're okay.
I'm not complaining.
No, you're not complaining. No.
Nice. Yep.
No, you're good.
If I could win, by the way. I don't know if that's bad or not, but
It just got better right there, but everything else was good. So,
okay, cool.
oh well, you know what? You go enjoy your vacation. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to get some intel.
Good to see you, Dylan.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to see you. We needed to see you because I think the people thought we were lying about having you involved. But
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I'll definitely
Really
be on.
picked up today. Like between Matty Fresh and Dylan, it's like this is like pinnacle booze,
Yeah,
bets, and ball. So I'll like
yeah,
go down from here now.
Nice
yeah,
juicy
I mean,
content.
yeah, got the good content today. Yeah, it'll go good. All right, Dylan. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you. All right, so good episode today. That was listening to Matty
was.
Fresh was fun. That was fun.
Matty Fresh has really thought about how to market himself very well, right? That's what I got out of that. And it's kind of an inspiring story, right? That he found this thing and really exploited the hell out of it, and now is working towards national fame and stardom. And we kind of know him a little bit now, so good for us.
Yeah,
make
I
us
think
songs if we want, right? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to see kind of the power of social media, like how much of an impact it's had on his career. Like if it wasn't for that, I mean, no one outside of Schuylkill County might have seen his music, but because of Twitter and TikTok, like he's kind of nationally known now. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, so if only we had somebody who had like 11,000 followers who could advertise for this podcast.
Don't worry. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Today's a good one.
Yeah. So hopefully, it was great. Hopefully next week, I think we're probably going to have a good Tyler story. There's no way he goes to Nashville. Yeah, there's no way he goes to Nashville and nothing insane happens. So looking forward to that.
A good Tyler story, or we'll never hear from Tyler again. I think those are the options, right?
Yeah, he might be calling in from the hospital, maybe. I mean, or a jail cell. So we'll have to see. That'll be funny. Justin told me that after the NBA Finals, he was done with betting and that we wouldn't hear from him until like August for like college football futures. But he's hit on a couple baseball bets lately, so I think we're gonna get some baseball bets over the summer, which I didn't expect.
That's exciting. Nothing that the kids love more than 162 games of an MLB season. So
a parlay every night, a parlay a day keeps the IRS away. I don't know.
Keeps Justin frying wings, I think, is what it keeps able to.
Yeah, probably. Oh man.
Anyway, good time.
Yeah, good times. All right, guys. If most of you are watching this on YouTube, I assume, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. We're now available on Apple Podcasts, obviously been on Spotify, been on iHeart, been on Google Podcasts. So that's good. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. So I'm Alec. He's Nate. Thanks for watching, guys.
Take care.